Bonjour, my name is David DeVere. I'm a wine educator and traveler, and you're watching Savvy Nomad TV, the O to V edition. This is day 3 of 12 festive days of cheese. Okay, let's see what the cheese box has got for us today. Okay, day 3 is right here. It's a big spot. Open that up. Pull this out. Ooh, a mimolette. So this is French cheese, and yeah. Oh, it's from Normandy. Insigny Saint-Mer. That's in Normandy, made in a co-op. That's great. I actually know where that is. I've been there. Mimolette. When you go to France and you buy a chunk of mimolette, it can be aged incredibly long. You can buy young mimolette or you can buy super old mimolette. This is aged 6 months. And this cheese at the market, it looks like this great big crazy ball of cheese. And one time we were in, I think we were in Auxerre, and there was this mimolette and I wanted a chunk of it. And the woman selling the fromagière, she tried to cut the, is that right, fromagière, or is it fromagier? If you're a woman. Fromagière, I did get it right. So anyway, she was trying to cut the cheese with this cheese knife, and she couldn't do it. And she had to yell to her husband, who was across the way selling fish, and he came over, and he was leaning on this mimolette, and he was like, ugh. He was a stout guy, and he was like, ugh, and he could barely cut it. It's so incredibly hard, but ooh, whenever I see it in France, I buy it. I don't usually buy it here. It's more expensive, but I love mimolette. Okay, let's slice it up and taste it. Okay, I've taken it out of the package, and right away when I smell it, it smells like Kraft macaroni and cheese. Oh, it's so nice. I'm so hungry. I hope it's lunchtime soon. Okay, uh, since this is the hardest of hard cheeses, I thought I'd show you if I could slice it. And I think this is actually a young mimolette. Yeah, no problem. Slicing just fine. Here's a little piece of mimolette for you to look at. Very nice. You can eat this rind. In the really, really hard ones that, you know, you can, the old ones, you can't eat the rind. I mean, it is just, it's almost like it's decayed on the outside. You'll break a tooth. I'm serious. Be careful. But you can use that rind in soups and other things to flavor stuff, kind of like a hard Parmesan rind. You do that with a Parmesan cheese. Okay, I'm going to slice the rest of this, get the wines, and we'll do the tasting. So remember, the purpose of a wine and food pairing is to hopefully make the food better or the wine taste better. And our Macedonian Pinot Noir really needs help. So maybe the mimolette will come to the rescue. But let's start with our Spanish Grenache. A mimolette is so satisfyingly hard and chewy. It's a little earthy. Yeah, earthy. Okay, we'll try it with our Grenache. That brings out the fruit flavors in the Grenache quite a bit. Now that was actually a kind of a fruity wine, but I think the mimolette helped smooth out the tannins and brought that sweet tart. I get a sweet tart, like a red sweet tart flavor out of this wine, and that's really brings that out now. The mimolette definitely smooths out the tannins. Now our Macedonian Pinot Noir was kind of tannicky, so maybe the mimolette will be just the ticket. It's a stiff cheese. It's really not comparable. This is a nice cheese. I like it. Cheese and crackers. Okay, here we go. 74-point Macedonian Pinot Noir. The Mimolette made it less grippy, but it didn't make it more flavorful. So the Mimolette's working the way it's supposed to. It's a fats in the mouth, work with the tannins in the wine. The acids in the wine are supposed to lift the palate, and to help clear the fats off. That does nice. The Mimolette is a nice example. Works well with the Grenache. The Pinot, I think, is beyond salvation. The cheese can only do so much. Okay, let's see what Sarah's opinion is.
Hi, Mimolette. Okay, I'm just going to take up the whole thing to sniff. Too bad it's not continued. I can really have a good smile. Well, that smells sharp. It smells cheddary and parmesan-y combined, plus like some, I want to say mold, but in a good way. And I took a tiny bite, and it feels sharp. It makes my mouth water. Okay, I'll go with the Grenache first. Still tannic, fruity. They're fine together. I'm a little worried about this one. It kind of made my throat close up after I tasted it. But we'll see how it does after the cheese. I'd say more palatable. Still quite grippy. And my throat feels funny after swallowing that again. So, I don't know. But I'm a big fan of the Mimolette. Cheers.
Are you getting another one?
Yeah.
Since she mentioned it, let's talk about just briefly about any kind of reaction you have to a wine. So you taste a wine and you sneeze. You taste a wine and you feel like your throat's closing up. You taste a wine and your cheeks go red. Or your back of your throat gets itchy. What's happening? You're having a histamine reaction to something in the wine. Wine is a fermented fruit. There's all kinds of wacky chemical compounds in there. Not additives, although there could be. But they're all this odd chemistry that's happened in the fermentation process. And then possibly in the blending process of adding different wines together to try to make them taste better. So if Sarah's throat is closing up, she's having a histamine reaction to the wine. If that's happening to you and you don't particularly like the wine, stop drinking it. Okay, so that's the end of our day 3 for the cheese. Mimolette, I am going to enjoy this one for lunch. I think we should have a cheese course with lunch, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to go make lunch. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please give me a thumbs up if you have. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And I'll see you for our next wine cheese pairing in 2 days. Until then, I say à tout à l'heure and cheese.